right, welcome everybody to the DOD-Cast. We had some technical issues like 5 seconds in. It was crazy, but we're here.
We fixed it.
Yeah, we fixed it. Today we got the double box. I'm just trying new shit at this point.
Yeah.
You know, we're just doing whatever I can.
See what you like.
Make it as easy for me, but also enjoyable for like people to watch. You know, I think you want to have a more like on the ball look.
Yeah.
Of who's talking.
If you got two guests, yeah, that's nice. Or two people.
Right, I'm actually gonna turn a little to you. I don't know why I'm fucking looking at the camera. But yeah, so DOD-Cast episode 84. We got Zach Trainor on today, Medford native, UMass Boston student, comp sci.
Yep.
So he's smart, basically. He likes video games. We have a lot in common. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Sports.
Everything. Yeah.
Speaking of sports, actually, you know what? Fucking straight into it. What happened last night?
The Bills' safety. I knew we were going to talk about
So
this.
it's Tuesday, by the way. This Monday Night Football just happened. Well, barely. Well, this first 7 minutes of Monday Night Football.
Yeah, like literally first quarter. Yep.
And, dude, what was that?
I don't know. I literally wasn't even watching the game, and
Neither was I.
Because I'm looking on Twitter, and I'm seeing everyone's like, "Oh my God!" Like praying for this dude. I see JJ Watt tweeted. I'm like, "What's going on for JJ Watt to tweet?" And
when he tweets, it's always like a natural disaster. Someone dies, or he has a heart attack. I was nervous.
I was nervous too. So then I look at the game. I saw. Did you see the clip?
I did see the clip.
The dude it looked like a normal hit.
Yeah.
Like he was the one hitting him, gets up, and then just falls back down.
Yeah, I'm also concerned. I wonder, because he snapped his head against the ground because he was fully,
yeah.
Did he also get a concussion, too?
Yeah.
I wonder. It's a really, first, it's a freaky world out there.
Very terrifying.
So let's not take for granted a lot of
Definitely.
things we have. It's moments like that make me think that way.
Yeah.
But also, what the fuck? Have you ever seen anything like that?
No. I mean, the only thing I could think of is, I don't know if you watched the Euro 2020. Eriksson, he plays for Denmark.
Right.
He went into cardiac arrest. I don't know if it was during the game, during warm-ups or whatever, but he like literally just fell down on the field. They had to get a defibrillator and everything.
Yeah.
And it saved his life. Like, he was okay, but this has never happened in the NFL.
Do you know if he's still playing?
Yeah, he actually came back. He didn't come back for that tournament, but he started playing the next season, and he's fine now.
Wow.
Plays for Man U.
Wow, really? They're nice, aren't they?
He's good, yeah.
I don't know much about soccer. Are you a soccer fan?
I've been getting into soccer lately because growing up, I was always like football, basketball, baseball, and I feel like really the past year or two, I started watching a lot of soccer.
Well, because soccer in reality is the best sport, because... Not the best. It's the most loved sport.
Most popular, definitely.
It's most popular.
Yeah.
Like everyone watches soccer. Every country in the world. It's the easiest sport to play.
Yeah.
It's the easiest, not to play, but not to learn, but to play in terms of a ball.
Understand.
You just need a ball.
Exactly.
And an open area.
Yeah.
And
Not a lot of rules compared to other stuff.
I feel like baseball is hard. Baseball can be kind of easy sometimes. You get a wiffle ball bat and a wiffle ball, but even that's a little different.
Yeah.
But football is hard to play for real.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like I really consider I played football with my friends all the time growing up, but I never played because I never had the pads on. Yeah. I never ran with the pads. I never tried to catch a ball through a helmet, cutting your peripherals off.
Exactly.
It's just completely different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And shit like this can happen. Or what's his name? Damar Hamlin?
Yeah.
Hopefully he's okay. I think he's still in critical condition.
They literally don't even have an update right now. I think I don't know if he's breathing on his own or whatever, but he's still in intensive care, critical condition. So
yeah, by the time this is up, this comes up on Saturday. This will go up on Saturday. So I hope we know by then. I hope it's good news.
Yeah.
If not, I'm sorry we're even talking about it, honestly.
I know.
But it was just really shocking. You see something like that, it makes me think of other injuries. But nothing's quite like the heart,
No.
There's a different feeling you get when Gordon Hayward snaps his leg and Kevin Ware snaps his leg.
Yeah.
Versus the feeling you get when, I think there's 3 degrees to it. There's the bodily injury like that, maybe 4 degrees. Bodily injury where it's snap, bleeding. If you see you ever see the video of the goalie that had his neck slit?
Yeah, in hockey.
That's
70s or whatever.
Yeah, when you see someone gushing blood, that's another feeling.
Yeah.
Then concussions, the head.
Yeah.
And then the heart. The heart's the rarest.
Yeah.
But it's not even the scariest. I wasn't scared.
Well,
I'm just you just feel vulnerable.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell because I remember when I first saw the clip, that looked like a concussion to me. Because you remember that clip of Tua? He earlier in the season just like was walking and then just fell down like limbless. It's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, you get a little concerned. The concussions are like it makes you think of your own brain and like how vulnerable that can be. But I feel like in sports, like it's an obvious thing. Like we know the head is an issue. Like you got to take care of it, and like it has its own. You know, people really care about concussions. People really care about breaking your body and bones. Probably wear all these pads. You know, people really care. They don't want you to get any superficial cuts.
Yeah.
You know, no one. Like, what do we? Not that you need to, but like that's kind of the problem with the heart. There's no
protection.
What do you
do?
Yeah. You know, like he had the pads on. Doesn't matter. Sometimes you just get hit the wrong way.
Yeah.
You walk the wrong way. It just pumps
and
irregularly.
Like just could like he could be born with it, and that's just when it gets triggered. Like you can't do nothing about that.
Insane. Like I think of that kid Erickson. I remember that now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I can't put a picture to it, but I remember that happening.
Yeah.
They were saying that they brought the defibrillator on. This one they did CPR in the field.
On the field for 9 minutes, which is a long time. I think I'm not in the medical field, but
Definitely
that's a long
is.
time.
I think it is. And then I also think of like Reggie Lewis, who played for the Celtics. I think he died on the court.
Oh, did he? I remember hearing about
I think
Reggie
it was
Lewis.
cocaine influenced.
Yeah.
Because it was back in the day. But still, like a heart attack on the floor. It's wild.
Yeah.
I had a teammate in high school. Do you know Valdi?
I've heard of
Valdi
the name.
Vanquer. Valdi's a great guy. We love Valdi. Love you, Valdi. He ain't watching. But then, but he had like a heart murmur or something.
Really?
And he had to wear like a pacemaker for a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was really scary. Like just to get him back and playing, he was like, I don't like, you know, it's just like an obvious, like you don't feel comfortable anymore.
Yeah, not at all.
So that's why like the rumor is that they try to get the players like to play the game.
Yeah, they wanted to do like a 5-minute warm up, but who's gonna want to play after seeing your teammate get CPR for that long? You know?
And that's where I think the heart differentiates and becomes the worst possible thing as opposed to everything else. Because every other injury, you go play.
Yeah.
Even wild concussions. Like
Definitely.
Nathan Horton's the worst I can think of.
When
He got lit up.
in
He was straight up like this.
Yeah.
Like for a minute, and they didn't come to.
Yeah.
They play. Whereas this, like it's a heart thing.
Yeah.
And you just can't play because there's no protecting it. There's no like your head. You at least you feel like you can protect. Like all right, I'll just go down here. Your heart, you can just like die. Running.
Yeah.
So everyone gets wigged out.
And it's like with a concussion, even though lingering effects and everything aside, like you know your teammate's gonna be okay. Like probably immediately after they get the attention. Like they usually regain consciousness and stuff. They have no idea if this dude's going to survive. So it's like, how do you expect them to continue playing after something like that?
With someone's life in the balance.
Yeah.
Like they know he's not okay yet.
No way. Like you can't imagine that.
So that's why I feel like it's definitely up to the players to play in any scenario like that. It's always going to be, it always should be up to the players. Like I remember when Gordon Hayward got hurt, it was the first game of the season.
Yeah.
So your legs are just getting under you. It's not like you're like in game, I think that changes things. Because if you're in game 30, right? And you've been playing for a little bit and, like, you know, your legs feel comfortable underneath you, that's a different feeling than, like, your first game. The first game, you remember the feeling of the first game in any sport.
Yeah.
It's just, like, it's a lot of what ifs. You don't really know. Your legs ain't really there yet. You kind of feel so, like, you really must feel, like, vulnerable when something like that happens.
Yeah.
And they kept playing, but then again, as you said, like, you know he'll be alive.
Yeah. And I think even if you remember, like, the Cleveland Celtics game, like when Gordon Hayward went up for that jump afterwards, like you could tell players were still shocked playing and like they didn't want to go up for dunks and stuff because they just seen this dude snap his ankle. It's like that stuff sticks with you. Like even though it's a sport, like, you know, that's scary.
Yeah, because
like, I feel like Gordon Hayward was never the same after that because of stuff like that.
He wasn't, but the fact that he played is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I broke my nose playing baseball.
Yeah.
And
really.
I was pitching and the ball came back. Hit me right.
That's my biggest fear, playing baseball. I've never actually played like a game, but even when I'm playing with my friends, wiffle ball, even like I don't want to catch that ball to my face. Like
I was pitching, and it was a little league, and I was like, it was like the end of little league, so everyone's probably too big for that diamond at that point. And now I'm biased because now I got smoked.
Yeah.
So I can tell everyone for sure we are too close at 14 years old to be smoking with metal bats still.
Yeah.
Either I feel like at a certain age you have to move them to wooden bats on the small field, or you can keep the metal bats, but put us 90 feet away at least, please.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I threw the ball, It came right back at, like, literally hit me dead center. I had 2 black eyes and a broken nose. And I just, like, and I remember, well, the next day I took MCAS.
What?
Yeah.
What?
The next day I took my standardized testing. Because I didn't have any concussion, I guess. Like, I was like, okay, if that don't do it, I don't know what will. But I had 2 black eyes. My nose was looking like this. Yeah. It was huge. And I took my MCAS. I was back in the dugout like 2 days later, just sitting there. I didn't play because, like, it just felt like you shouldn't.
Yeah.
But, like, I could have. Like, it was funny.
Yeah.
And then I played the outfield a couple games. I hadn't pitched since. It was like 3 weeks later. And I went to go pitch. He was like, you want to pitch today? I went and coached. And I was like, yeah, great guy. Billy O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
Billy O'Brien's.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Love Billy. And he put me on the mound. And I was throwing the warm-ups. And I wasn't even like sad. I just started crying. I was like, oh my God. Like,
it must all came back to you.
I was just like scared.
Yeah.
Different field and everything. He did it intentionally on a different field. I think so. And I just grabbed the ball. I went off the field. I went to my dad. And I just like was sitting with him for a second. He was like, yeah, you don't got to pitch. Yeah. And I stopped pitching. And then the only thing I liked about baseball was pitching. So I just stopped playing baseball in general. Mm-hmm. So even though it's a much more minor experience, I was also younger, so it feels different. But I can really relate to like understanding like when you go back out there, your confidence just feels weird.
Yeah,
I had a mask on my face and everything.
Yeah, if he comes back from that, do you think he'd even want to ever play again? Like,
I don't know. I mean, he might be. Yeah, because like I was just gonna say he might not even be able to move his legs, but let's just assume like he's okay.
Yeah,
let's assume he's okay. In the best case scenario, his body's fine. They say you're cleared to play.
Yeah.
Would you like?
Honestly, no. And this reminds me. Do you remember the Steelers linebacker like 3 or 4 years ago? Shazier. Didn't he go like paralyzed from like legs down for a year or two? And he was working to come back, and like eventually he could walk, run, and everything. And he's like, I want to play again. I don't know if the team told him no or whatever, but it's like if I'm in your scenario and I came that close to permanently being damaged from this sport, like. No, like I could not do that.
Yeah,
like
Shazier
no way.
Was a beast too, dude.
He was so
monster. I love Shazier.
He was gonna have a great career and stuff, but it's like if you came that close, why would you want to risk that again?
Right. And I think, I think Felger and Maz. You watch any Felger and Maz?
Sometimes. I hate watching Felger.
Yeah, they're wild. But they were talking, and he said Felger was like, well, these guys a lot of them. Athletes in general, I'm not just saying football, but athletes in general, that's your gift. You found your gift. Yeah. Which, like, that's hard to find what, like, you're good at, really. And so that's their thing. And a lot of them took them out of, like, poverty. A lot of them, it brought them to a school.
You worked your entire life towards something like that, so
like it's hard. Even if it kills you, then so be it, type of thing. And that's where Shazier I think was coming from. I remember 2 years after he got hurt. It was 2 years, so it took a long time for him to be okay.
Yeah.
But 2 years later, that he did the pick. He announced the pick for the Steelers.
Yep.
And he was barely walking.
Yeah.
Like he was like shaking his way to the podium, and I was like, oh my fucking.
And it's like you even thought about coming back, like.
It's insane. It's really insane. So he really obviously these guys, his decision of course, and like whatever he wants to do. But I was watching a clip actually of his days earlier, like maybe weeks earlier. He was saying they just did their like. The DB prayer, it's like the defensive back prayer that they do, I guess, together. And he was like, it just makes me grateful. Like, you can't take advantage of it because any moment it could all be over. He was literally just saying that.
That's crazy. That's scary.
Yeah. So at least he was like a grateful, probably in a good space in his life. We can assume, So maybe there's plenty of people around him already. Like, so he's got a lot of good vibes going his way. We'll see. We'll see. Couldn't be me though.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
I broke my nose. I thought I was fucking dying.
It's hard for us to sit here and say, well, we keep playing because it's like we didn't work our entire life and feel that joy of, like you said, coming out of poverty and like make like everyone around you, like you can help them. But from where I am right now, I just could not see how someone could do that. But I get the feelings that go into it.
Because even like I'm not like poor or nothing, but like even just the idea of just like the ability to make you and your family financially stable
for generations,
it must be very appealing.
Yeah.
Like I always say like. For a certain amount of money, if I could guarantee my family and people around me like a certain amount of money, I don't know what that amount would be. It would be a lot.
Yeah.
I'd just like die.
honestly, yeah,
it's a little morbid, but like at some price, there's a price for it.
But I get that, yeah.
If I could go like this, just press a button, and like everyone in my family would be given $500 million, like you're kind of selfish. In my opinion, you're a little selfish if you're not at least thinking about it. You know, maybe making like breaking out the yellow legal pad and putting a pros and cons list together.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just all I'm saying. That's like, all right, pros, everyone is fine.
Yeah.
Is all out as for certain. Cons, I won't be there.
Yeah. It's like how much that just comes down to how much you value your life at that point. But it's like your family members would be like, no, like I would not want any amount of money.
Yeah.
But
well, no.
True. If you ask my family that, I'm sure my sister or something would name a price.
Cool, like $650. If you buy me the new Xbox or something, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm in. Yeah. I don't know. I always think about that. I don't know why I always think about that, but I'm just like, yo, what's the price?
Yeah.
What's the price on that? What's the price on my life? Where do I value myself at?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I've been thinking about more because I've been looking for jobs.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find like a job that compensates me for what I believe I am. For what I believe I'd bring in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to find that entry, but like I wonder in 10 years, like what will my valuation be?
Yeah.
How much stake do I put on that number too? Like you're making $150,000. Do you feel like you're worth is that like what you are?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. What will you be doing for work after school?
It's funny that you mentioned looking for jobs because I'm looking for internships right now, which is kind of like what you need to get your foot in the door and like eventually get that first job. So I'm applying to internships right now, just a whole bunch of different ones. I'm doing comp sci, which a lot of like comp sci is like a very broad degree. Like it's computer science. Like there's so much that goes into that a lot of people don't know.
There's more within that degree than all the other stuff combined.
Yeah.
I feel like because computers are just they're everything.
Yeah.
So
and in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if it eventually it already is. Like some people major in software engineering, which is like under the umbrella of computer science.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to go into like software. Like I like making things. I like getting an objective, like hearing from someone and working to make something that actually works and you can see and stuff.
Okay. What kind of thing would you be building?
So at least from what I've done in class and stuff, like I've made websites, I've made like simple like little programs like games and stuff that you can play.
Like Pong type of stuff?
Yeah, like that type of stuff. But it's kind of, I don't really know where exactly I want to go. I've always said software is what caught my interest initially, but maybe when I'm in the field, I find something that I actually really enjoy, like because there's like machine learning out there, there's like cybersecurity, like I could find something that piques my interest more, but that's kind of why I wanted to go with the computer science degree because you just have so many options. Like my biggest thing coming out of high school is like I can't choose one thing I want to do. Like coming out of high school, I loved history, like loved politics.
I know
and
you did
like
love
that.
history.
Loved it, and it's like obviously computer science, you're not going to be working like with history and everything directly, but it's applicable everywhere. Like if you're making websites, you can work with people who do historical type things. I don't know. It's just it's like it's a very broad field.
It kind of reminds me in a way. It's like it's obviously that's just like a piece of it. Like the whole idea of like engineering stuff on like you can also do. There's a bunch of other things you can do with computer science, but that way you describe like that type of engineering, it makes me think of marketing in a lot of ways. Of what I do, where like I did my internship for a business-to-business security camera company. Yeah. Which would be a completely different marketing strategy and like you're working with different materials and stuff as opposed to if I was doing for the Celtics. Business to consumer. You could also do business to business for the Celtics. Like, all right, how we need to sponsor ourselves. It's like, no, you're not working with consumers. We're trying to sponsor to like local bars and stuff. Like, see if we can like whatever. Yeah. So there's different avenues for everything when it comes to marketing, and that's why it's a very versatile degree as well. But that's the same thing, and that's where I feel like people don't realize most degrees have that type of versatility to them. Yeah. There's a couple that don't, but those would be like nurses.
Yeah, and usually people who go into those degrees like know that's what they want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
People like us, like we don't want to end up in a dead end. Like holy shit, like I hate my job. Like you want to have those opportunities to go somewhere else.
Exactly.
So I feel like that's the most important thing.
Unless you know what you want to do, it's okay to not. It's
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, because if you know what you want to do, if you want to be a teacher, you should become a teacher.
Yeah.
You want to be a nurse, you should become a nurse.
Yeah.
Doctor, you become a doctor. Not that they're easy, but like the path.
You've got the path.
Whereas like us, like, we don't know, so we pick something we like.
Yeah.
Computer science, history, communications, like whatever it may be. Like I'm taking a digital media courses now, like just to open up a couple more avenues.
Yeah.
And then you can fall into a place for you from there.
Yeah.
Just, you need like some skills.
Definitely.
You know, what would you say you learned the most from like school?
I mean, first of all, when I went into it, I thought computer science was just programming, so I actually understood what the major was and everything like that. I don't like, it's gonna sound corny, but I feel like one of the things I learned most is a lot of people, especially like the gifted people in the tech field that I'm in, it's like, because there's plenty of people who are gifted, like the really smart kids, like gonna go work for Google and everything. It's like,
right.
You can be really smart in what you know, but a lot of people, especially, I don't want to generalize, but comp sci majors, like they get so wrapped up in being so book smart and everything that they forget the most important part of what you're doing is working with others and stuff like that. Because if you're making, say, like if you're working on, I don't know, like if you're in just general, if you're making a software for someone and the customer's trying to tell you what they want, but like it's just like some people, like you'd be surprised, wouldn't even be able to like hold a conversation or something like that. And it's like, it doesn't matter how smart you are, how much like programming languages and all this you know. And maybe I'm like, I just like, because sometimes I feel like I get imposter syndrome where I'm like, do I really deserve to be here? Because like maybe I don't know as much as these others, but I'm like, as long as you are able to talk to people and work through something, then that's really the whole job, is because even if you don't know something, like no one's going to know everything. You work with someone, you'll figure that out.
That's every job, really. In a lot of ways.
It's
I think
just applicable.
That's what a lot of people, it's kind of why I think you said like this might be corny, because it's what a lot of people say about college. Like you learn like how to work with people. Yeah. Because like, or at least like you get to practice being able to work with people. Because I know like that's something I've always been good at, but it's just like good to be able to put it to work. Yeah. You know, see what I can do with what I have, with the teammates I have, group members, whatever. You know, so there's a lot to be said about that. Yeah. I think with computer science, something that I've been interested in, maybe learning some things about like learning how to code. Yeah. Stuff like that. I feel like it's just such like an obvious path for the future and for like society in general. Yeah. Do you feel like, because I feel like I kind of have like a somewhat of a finger on the pulse of like what like the marketing and sales world will be like going forward. Do you feel like you have any idea like what like?
So I feel like another reason I went to computer science is because at least I feel it's going to be a secure job market. Like you see how dependent like our like everything we do is like dependent on computers now. So like there's always going to be a market, I feel like, for that. And I mean, like there's some people, like I remember I've seen something the past like month or two that really took off, was like this, it's like AI that can actually make programs and everything.
GPT.
Chat GPT, exactly. And I've been seeing people who are like freaking out. They're like, oh my God, like they're going to come for our jobs and everything. Like there's not going to be any like room for programming and everything, like people like me. And it's like I said, like programming is just one part of the job. Like you can spit into what if you know exactly what you want, which no one ever does, they can spit that into a bot and hopefully they can get the right thing, which right now it doesn't look like it is, because it's usually just pulling data and stuff from like, I've seen people say it pulls from like Stack Overflow, which is like a very popular computer science website. People go for questions and stuff. Like it's pulling questions from that. And it doesn't even know if those questions are right. Like it's just giving you that information. It's like, here's what you asked for. And there's no telling if it'll work. Granted, the more you ask it questions and stuff, it is getting smarter because it's learning and everything like that.
Does that scare you at all? That it can literally learn?
I don't know. Because like, that's kind of, if you're in machine learning, like that's what you want. You want the computer to become super smart like that. But it's like, I don't know. People say like are so worried about like robots taking our job and stuff. It's like if a computer becomes that smart, I personally I don't feel like the job market is like the biggest worry. You know, like right. If you have some super friggin' thing like that, like who knows what it could do? But I don't know.
So when you say coming for odd jobs, do you mean like you specifically as a computer science major?
Yeah.
Or do you feel like just people in general feeling like
I
any
think
job could be taken
it
over?
goes everywhere, because do you remember that this was like a few months ago now, there was like a bot that made artwork. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Artists were like complaining. They're like, this thing is like taking work, and like it's not authentic, like, and it's like taking their jobs, because now people, if they want a drawing or whatever, they can just input whatever they want and get something spit out, and they have all these options. They can change whatever they want. And I remember like I saw like different like artists online and stuff were complaining about that. And now it's funny that ChatGPT came out, because now it's like all the programmers are laughing at them, and now the programmers are shitting themselves about losing their job. So you could say like it might just be my field at risk, but I don't know, it could go anywhere. You never know where it's gonna go. I'm sure there's some jobs like marketing that have robot, like you can't get a robot to market, but not right now at least.
That's the thing. I feel like at some point you'll be able to get a robot to do most things.
Yeah, and that's in my opinion, that should be the goal. Like I feel like we're using technology to make our lives easier. The goal, like if you get a robot that's smart that it can do these certain jobs for us, then we can actually spend more time working on other things or actually enjoying our lives, like.
So, well, that kind of is
and
where
then it
the
gets
question
into like the
comes.
Wall-E scenario where you're like,
that's where the question comes of like, okay, so say we have computers doing most of the shit for us, right? And then we're like, all right, we can focus on the more important things, like it's just doing all this shit. Well, then what if computers get better at us than even the more important things?
Yeah.
So now the computers are better than us across the board at all the work we do. So now we don't have work. It's like, all right, so what can we do? We can entertain. We can make entertainment. We can make art. We can make blah, blah, blah. Let's think about some of the best artists and some of the best musical artists and anything in the world. Create the best entertainment ever often comes from a place of like, it's like a dark place and like a bad place. Like, like you'll hear like, who's a good example that isn't under a lot of fire right now?
That's hard to find.
First person I thought of was Kanye, so that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, definitely not him right now.
Fuck. Any artist? Literally just name an artist. Any of them. Lil Baby. Let's go Lil Baby, right?
Okay.
Right? He came from the hood. He came from projects. And he made a lot of money in the hood. He's selling weed. And he said he wouldn't stop selling weed until he made more money rapping.
Yeah.
And when Young Thug showed him that he could, that's when he started rapping. But a lot of his material, a lot of like what makes his rap good is that he can talk about that game and that side. Like it's a hustle, it's different, like life that we don't live.
Yeah.
And that's why it's appealing. So I wonder if you take away all those struggles, take away all the work, take away all the bullshit, will the art will result to only all making art. We'll all become these fucking earthy, crunchy, arty people, artsy people. But we have no struggle to draw it from, so it's just all gonna be fucking boring art.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. Like, you can't even comprehend a world like that. Like,
the only things that we'll probably have good art from is like anybody that has mental illness. Like you're just born, but then no, we won't, because genetic editing.
They're gonna fix.
So they'll be all fixed. No more bipolar people. Fuck that. Like one of Kanye is a good example for this one, because he made Ye, which is like that blue album with the mountains for people that don't know, and I love that album.
Yeah.
It's a lot about his like struggle with mental illness.
Yeah.
Not anymore. If we work on the genetic coding, we have all these AIs doing all the bullshit work. So I think a lot of what drives us forward and a lot of what like makes us push and a lot of the best work comes from people that have like struggled immensely.
That's what makes
us. So if you take away the struggle,
make you unique. Yeah.
But do we become just one fucking gum society if you just take away all the struggles?
I mean, that seems like it'd be the case. I don't know. Like, if everyone has the same upbringing and stuff like that, then yeah, everyone's just gonna be unique. But I don't like. Do you think that's what the world would look like? Like, because like, even if we solve all issues in our country, there's friggin', all these like, third world countries and everything like
again,
that.
You think?
Not conquering, but I'm saying like,
I wouldn't mind.
Even if we fix our issues, like, there's still gonna there's a whole world out there. There's still gonna be people who have a different upbringing than you. They live they saw different things than you. Like, I feel like there's always gonna, like, I don't know, like I think there's gonna be that uniqueness, but if it eventually spreads and there's no problems in the world and stuff, then yeah,
it's like
that's when we start going to space.
Yeah, we gotta go to space and make problems.
Literally,
we will make problems to make sure we can keep solving them. I think that the nuclear fusion thing's huge.
Huge.
Like,
yeah,
we can now create energy. At least we're on the path to being able to do that.
Yeah.
At a rate which would like run things.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so that wipes away like half our issues.
Yeah.
Because if we can do that, you can do anything.
Yeah.
So we are now entering a state, and of course with the way AI is going and computers, we're entering like a godhood. You know, we're kind of becoming like a goddish
almost, yeah,
being. And I consider us, you know, there's a reason empathy exists.
Yep.
You can feel when someone else is feeling something because we're connected.
Definitely.
You know? And I think you feel it a little less. Some people feel a little more with animals, but some people feel less with. I feel that way, but sometimes less with animals. Like if I see like a dead animal, I feel like a little bit of empathy for life.
Yeah.
Because we're earthly. You know,
exactly.
we're all earth together.
Yep.
But humans specifically. So we're tied in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I guess our closest relative is mushrooms.
Really?
And mushrooms are tied that way too. Like they can connect. Like they feel each other.
Yeah.
And like they can speak without speaking. It's like they talk to each other for acres and acres and acres.
Yeah.
And so I feel like in that sense we are one like being. We're like humans. We are a like species. We're all working. Think of it. We're always trying to be mad productive. We're always trying to make things super efficient, do all this shit. So really we're just one thing. Trying to become like a god that we, like, you know, you ever see the Matthew McConaughey acceptance speech where he says, who you chasing? Who you chasing? I'm chasing me in 5 years.
Yeah.
You ever seen that?
No, I haven't, but...
Well, you understand the process, though? That's what we're doing. We've made up these gods because that's what we want to be.
Yeah.
Like, we want to be life-giving, life-creating. And if we can edit genes, we can create energy, literally, which sounds fucking weird even to say. We can create energy. We have robots doing all the busy work for us. Because I feel like that's its best use. Fucking have them sweeping.
Yeah.
Have the robots sweeping. Have the robots making burgers at McDonald's. Because no one wants to do that shit. I know it's a struggle in its own sense, but like no rapper's talking about McDonald's.
Yeah.
They're talking about like struggle in a different way.
Yeah.
So I guess just those senses. And then if you can do all that, we can, you know, Musk bringing us all over the fucking place to Mars and shit. What if we start like planting civilization in our areas? So then we are literally God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that, like you said, being a human is kind of like, it's a changing definition. You're chasing yourself, the future and everything. If we get to a point that it's like our basic goal is survival. So if we solve all problems at home, then the only path we got to go is like outwards. Like we're going to Mars, whatever. Look, who knows what technology we'll have to make it to other planets and stuff. But then before you know it, we just got this like galactical being. Like
we're gonna end up being fucking weird looking. Like we're gonna be going to other areas and just being
maybe we'll stumble upon another like, you know, being. And then if you believe in aliens.
Yeah, and then at that rate, you wonder, like, all right, well, then did someone do that to us?
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like that's what we do. We go to other places and we, like, spread our reach. You know, we, like, plant people. So maybe we're going to reach a certain level. Like, okay, we got all this shit. Once we get all that stuff figured out, because we've gone a long time without an extinction. So the goal this is under the impression we've been planted here.
Yeah.
Say we were planted here.
Yeah.
And the goal is for us to rise to this point. No matter what, this is our destiny, is to rise to this point.
Yeah.
We are built with that genetic coding to want to be effective and grow.
Expand.
Once we get there, all of a sudden we're going to tap into this new technology where we can communicate. And we start like, you know, we say like we pick up the metaphorical phone and we're like, hello. What if a bunch of civilizations across the universe are like, yo, they made it.
You made
Y'all
it.
made it.
Like we weren't thinking you were going to make it.
We had some bets in the pool.
We saw racism. Like,
we saw racism. None of us have done that shit. None of us. It was just y'all. Shit was crazy. We literally have never done racism. Y'all did that that shit was crazy. Pull up. Like, and then like, we start hanging out with fucking gods. And then we're all just gods together. That's all they were waiting for, was just us to get to that point.
Yeah. Or it's
That'd
like,
be sick.
What if, I love that quote. Have you ever heard that quote? Because I love like reading and learning about space and stuff. It's like that quote that it's like either, I forget who said it, either we're like not alone in the universe or we are. Like both are equally as terrifying. And I'm like, damn, like if we are alone, then we just have like this almost infinite space, and like what if Earth is the starting point and we just expand from there, and we are like, what if we're the beginning of the timeline and
of
billions
what I was
of years
saying,
down the later,
like what if like we in in a billion years we're getting that phone call that I'm talking about, like we reached, because I mean we've reached a weird point where like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, like humans are kind of self-centered. We think of ourselves as gods, like I'm saying right now. Yeah. But in reality, like that's kind of where it's coming. You know, it's where it's coming to. Obviously, there might be a fucking being out there in the universe that like we haven't discovered yet, that literally can just go planet to planet, no issue, can travel at light speed just by thinking, like whatever. Yeah. So obviously, there's things we don't know. But as for the life that we know, and the desolate area around us, you know, that's a lot of space. We're pretty much as good as it gets. Yeah. You know, in terms of our ability to maybe outlast what, you know, we feel is like the impending doom of nature. You know, like a solar flare would fuck us up still. Exactly. Right, but if we get to a certain point where we can move to another solar system, we could be seeded in multiple areas.
Exactly. So it's like not as big of a risk.
It's like mutual funds as opposed to like a one stock.
Putting it all in one like basket.
Right now we're AMC.
Spreading it out. Yeah.
We're AMC.
We're putting it all.
And we're just, you know, we bust it down sometimes, you know, then racism. And then we bust it down and then, you know, more racism. Yeah. But really what we need to do is just transfer to like a Berkshire Hathaway
diverse portfolio.
Diversify our portfolio to multiple, not just multiple solar systems, multiple galaxies one day. Yeah. That, intergalactic travel. Yeah. You know, that'll be like, you know, I wonder how different people would look if we placed half the humans on Earth. Say we took half and we put them in a different solar system.
Yeah, and like, after like a certain amount of generations, like how different would they look?
Like what? They'd probably look weird as shit. Right?
Yeah, it depends on how that environment they're in is looking, but they definitely look weirder than us. No, I haven't. I haven't seen the first one. Like, listen, Avatar is a movie I've heard everyone talk about, but like, I just have never seen it, and I don't want to go see the second one because I haven't seen the first one. So I gotta do something here.
This is me right now. I don't even know what this is, but this is me. This is me right now and here right now. Someone told me the other day someone else hadn't seen it, and I was like, why? And I'm not even like a fucking huge Avatar fan. It's not like I'm sitting here like, dude, Avatar is the best movie ever. It was just such a big deal at the time that I'm surprised when people didn't see it. But we were 8.
We were young.
We were
exactly.
8, so like for me to act like I was like paying attention was silly. Yeah. But I just wanted to see the 3D big blue creatures. Honestly, I think when I went to go see that movie, I got really sick because I had
the
like
CGI and all that.
CGI and I was watching it in 3D.
Oh, wow.
And like for a little bit, you know, I was early in 3D stage. I think people were getting sick watching shit like that. Yeah. So I got sick watching it. But then I watched it again a couple times as I've gotten older, and I watched it again a couple months ago in preparation. And I'm like, damn, this movie's just fucking cool. Because that's the end of it. That's the end all be all of this movie. It's just fucking cool. Yeah. And then Avatar Way of Water, first of all, the name. Yeah. You know.
It looks dope. Like, it's all underwater and everything like that. Like,
fucking cool. Yeah. It's not even like a good storytelling.
That's what I heard. The biggest appeal of it is it's like, it's not like a Marvel where you have to know everything that's going on and everything, or like watch other movies to understand it, like in the universe. Like, it's just a dope looking movie. And that's why like it doesn't have like a fan base. It's just got a bunch of people like you who like say like it's just awesome.
Like, wow, that was fun for my eyes. Yeah. That's really what it is. Just fun for my eyes.
Yeah. Which is like a good thing for a movie. Like,
it kind of reminds me of like, I think of it like music. Like music, you don't watch music. You don't taste music. Yeah. The only thing you do to music is you listen. Yeah. And then your brain obviously comprehends, of course. But like, you just listen to music. You don't feel it. Movies is like the reason why I always say movies and TV shows are better than books is because it's a multi-medium. So you can utilize visual and audio. Yeah. As opposed to reading, which is
just text,
just text, and I guess which is just comprehension. It's not even really. Sometimes you can use audio, I guess, but I always say movies and TVs. The best movie or TV show is better than the best book, just because That's just like you can take two.
Yeah.
It fixes two problems at once.
I agree with
but
that.
they're still fucking great books.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the best TV show and best movie is better than the best song, but they're still fucking amazing songs.
Definitely.
So what this is just like a song for your eyes. It's like a painting, a beautiful, beautiful painting.
Yeah.
And it just moves,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gorgeous, and you can tell like you being a guy that does comp sci, like I feel like you have a real deep appreciation. Not that you do fucking CGI
or anything,
but you
like
understand like just what would probably have to go into that.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Whereas like me, I'm just like, wow, they really put those ones and zeros in there, huh? That's binary right there. I can't get out of those stages, so I feel like you'd really appreciate it. Even the one from I just rewatched the old Avatar.
Like 10 years ago.
Dude,
it was, right?
It was 2009, so
it was like groundbreaking.
14 years ago.
That's crazy.
Right. 13 years ago, really. But it was groundbreaking at the time. And but even still today, it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful looking movie even today.
Yeah.
And because it set the standard for today.
Mm-hmm.
And now this one I feel like has like taken another, not as big, but another step forward.
Yeah. And he has like 3 more lined up, so it's like I gotta see these before these next 3 come out.
Because you said there's no super fans yet, but there will be within
probably.
the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Because they're coming out, I think, like 2 years and then another 2 years.
The next one's supposed to be like fire, like volcanoes or something. I'm like, I can't imagine what that's gonna look like.
Because he probably was sitting there like, yo, we got new tech yet? And they were like, yeah. And then he's like, we're gonna do earth, water, and fire. And it's like that's what Avatar did. The other Avatar. And you're kind of stealing their entire flow and name. He's like, what the fuck did you say to me? These people are huge and blue, dog.
And we're gonna
are they big and blue? It's like, nah, they're not big. Okay, so shut up. The Smurfs did that shit.
Yeah.
Got these oversized Smurfs swimming. Shit's crazy. No, they're really cool though. The different looking. These ones are like different looking. These Avatar people.
Yeah.
And they kind of what I was saying. I'm not spoiling anything. I don't think. They just have like the water people he meets.
Mm-hmm.
They have like wider arms.
Yeah.
And they have like the webbing's a little bit bigger.
So they kind of look similar to the original beings, but you can see where the evolution took
right.
them.
They're lighter toned because they're underwater or under cabanas, whereas the other ones are they're tree people. So like they like swing and like they're stronger.
Yeah.
But they don't like. And I wish a lot of things I wish about the movie. I wish I'll wait a couple months to talk about it, like about things. I'll have to have someone on that I like, that watched that, seen it, because there's some things I want to discuss about that movie one day. But you got to watch it.
I will.
You got to watch it.
I promise I will, because so many people are. It came out like 2 weeks
2 weeks
ago
ago,
or something,
2
and
weeks
it's
ago.
still like it's keeping its pace in the box office. Like it's not dropping or anything. Usually, like after the first week, that's when it sells the most. But it's like staying steady.
Yeah, this is the 4th week, I think. So the first week was like super big, and then it's usually like the weekend, like that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is like a whole another day of time because it's just literally the drop. But then the first week, the end of first week, second week, and third week were all pretty much the same pace. And then this week, I think it's shaping up to be very similar. My theater was pretty packed.
Yeah.
Because
I heard a lot of people did you see it in IMAX?
I did not. I should have though.
Because I feel like I heard a lot of people who were saying they either went and saw it in like a normal theater or they're waiting to go see it in IMAX because obviously IMAX can't hold as many, but then like they're gonna see it again, and it's just like a whole new level of appreciation.
My project for my capstone, I did my capstone this past semester, which is like the big project to enter college, whatever. And so for me, it was strategic management, and you have to take a failing business and bring it, and like change the direction. Like, how would you change the direction of it to apply to like today's standards and like whatever. So I chose AMC.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, and so our idea was kind of all over the place. Just make it this big entertainment center, whatever. That's irrelevant. But the cool thing about it was the thing that I noticed was in terms of the IMAX thing. People go to the movies still. But just like a little thing people don't know about. Like the biggest thing about the best-selling movies, I think I looked it up. The best-selling movies, if you're just going by a total amount, like the top 10 have all been in the past 20 years. But if you're going by in proportion to inflation, in proportion, like I think 7 of the top 20 have still been in the past like 15 years.
Yeah.
which is like, movies have been coming out for hundreds of years. So movies are actually bigger now than they've ever been.
Yeah.
The biggest movies are bigger now than they've ever been.
And you saw that, like, especially with COVID, like, HBO Max and stuff was trying to just go straight to, like, streaming and stuff. And people are like, no, like, we enjoy the experience of going and seeing this with other people in, like, a big room. Like, it's just you can't replicate that at home, like, on streaming.
I can't pull it up on my laptop.
Like, it's just not the same.
Yeah, the speakers ain't the same. Shit ain't the same. So at least until it is, movie theater will always have people in it. At least the IMAX ones.
Yeah.
Like where it's a real different experience. Like you can feel the water going through. I can only imagine. I want to go watch it in IMAX now because I watched Wakanda Forever in IMAX, and dog. That shit crazy. Was fucking bussin' in IMAX. Did you watch it?
I haven't, but I know what you're talking about because whenever I go to the movies, it's usually always IMAX. I don't go to the movies that much, but if there's a movie I really want to see, I'm usually trying to go to an IMAX theater just because it's a freaking completely different experience, I
feel like the movies, for me, I'm such a huge fan of the movies, and I think it's one of the most underrated things you can do with your money. And like some tickets have gotten expensive nowadays, especially for an IMAX. But if you don't need the IMAX, to watch a new movie, a really good movie in a beautiful theater, you can spend like $13.
Yeah.
And like everyone's like, well, I need a popcorn for $10. Like, no, you don't.
Sneak in your own snacks. Bring them from home.
Go to the Dollar Tree, spend $6, and be legit full, like a big gluttonous.
They're not checking you anymore.
You could be a gluttonous free for $6. You can get 2 DCs. You can get 2 things of candy and then 2 bags of chips. Popcorn you could even get. I've brought in a big bag of popcorn like this big.
Yeah. And they don't care.
And they don't give a fuck. No one cares. Everyone, they want you.
And those snacks and stuff they're gonna hit different than if you just would stay home like a fucking lazy piece of shit and watch
sat on your TV on your couch. Ooh, nom, nom, nom. Like, dude, I want to eat a Twizzler in the middle of a fucking
just hits
AMC
different,
theater. And it's only $13. You can go watch a great movie. And then, what people don't know you can do, well, because you can't, theoretically, just, if you want to watch multiple movies, just stay, look for the tickets that haven't been bought yet, and then sit in those seats. Yeah. No theaters are rarely jammed up anymore.
Unless it's a brand new movie, like almost never.
A brand new, like, groundbreaking movie. Yeah. Like, I went to go see Top Gun Maverick a couple weeks after it came out.
I want to see that. I have not seen that.
It was great in the theater.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of movies. So I went to go see that, and it was a couple weeks later. It was literally just, I went with Kira. It was just me and Kira in the theater.
Really?
We had the whole thing to ourselves. It was so much fun.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And it was just like, so you can go to these other movies right after. No one's fucking checking. No one cares.
Yeah.
So I feel like the movie's underrated experience.
I mean, I think the last one I went to was actually Batman in March. And
I went to see that too.
I saw it in Colorado, and it was like, I remember it was nighttime downpouring because we went to the midnight showing. And you remember that vibe that you like experienced going to see that movie. If it was like raining and stuff, chilly night, like that sticks with me because now when I go outside, it's raining and it's dark out. I'm like, I feel like I'm in Batman right now because I just saw the movie like that. Oh, it fit perfectly.
Ours was a rainy night, so I went with the boys and on Clare Street. A couple college friends, and it was a ball. Great movie too.
I love that movie. It was awesome. Long movie, but it was still keeps your attention.
Yeah, it does. It does a good job. It's like a mystery. It's a mystery film, and I think it's a really good direction for the DC. I really hope they go that direction.
I hope they figure it out.
The biggest issue with everything right now is they're trying to be Marvel, which is doing 2 things. 1, it's ruining their own shit.
Yeah.
And 2, it's ruining Marvel.
Yeah.
Because now Marvel, I love
Marvel too.
I've watched everything multiple times.
Okay.
Every show multiple times. Yeah. Everything. At least 2, 3, maybe 4 times through the whole entire series. All the movies, all the shows. And I'm even like, oh my God, some of these shits that they're putting out, I'm like, guys.
It's a lot now.
It's a lot, and it's just like fucking, it's very light. It's so light and bright, and it was such a good, like, breath of fresh air at the time, but, you know, when every fucking movie is like this bright superhero movie with a lot of comedy and stuff.
That's old.
It gets boring. So they need to do other shit, so Marvel can keep doing that, a couple serious films here and there. But, like, if DC can really
stick with the rated R, like that's what they do best. You like Joker? Did you like
Joker?
That was another amazing movie. Like
amazing movie.
They need to stick with that but like you said, they tried, like, they just released Black Adam and stuff. It's like they're trying to be Marvel. You're not gonna be Marvel.
Yeah, like fucking stop. You're not gonna do it. And if you do, the best you can succeed is by maybe making Marvel stuff seem stale. But you're just not gonna sell like Marvel anyway. So they're gonna beat you out in that way too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're DC, you gotta just stick with the rated R. I don't know why they're so fucking scared.
I don't know either.
I know it like sells us, but it really doesn't because these movies have done fine.
Mm-hmm.
Deadpool did fine.
Yeah.
Like these movies are fucking fine.
Mm-hmm. Make
them rated R.
Exactly.
We'll go.
Yeah.
Like, we're 18.
We'll
go.
talk about it. We'll tell other people to see it.
I promise you, the comic book fans, the real comic book fans out there, are all over 18.
Mm-hmm.
So who gives a fuck if you're swearing? Like who gives a fuck? Mm-hmm. And it'd be funny because like I think about in the Marvel movies, one of them. I think Iron Man says something like, oh shit, or like, or like, not shit, something like, oh bitch, whatever, something light. Yeah. And Captain America goes, language.
I remember that scene.
Yeah, right. And he's like, Cap, just so you language. If he was like, oh fuck you, pal. If Iron Man said that shit, oh fuck you, or like, hey, she's a cunt. Whoa, then you could understand Cap saying something. Yeah. And I think it would add a little more to it. You could show people getting fucking murdered. Mm-hmm. That'd be sick.
If Hulk fucking
ripped
pounds
a
on
person
someone,
in half, oof. I'd think that there's just a whole...
I'd respect Hulk to a new level. Like,
right. There's a whole unlocked, market there.
Yeah. I think that you're definitely going to see... I don't know if it'll be in that direction, but especially Marvel, I feel like they're definitely going to have to change up their game because I feel like... I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are talking about how it is getting stale and stuff, and there's so much content. Mm-hmm. It's superhero, like just so much being shoved down your throat. Like people are starting to get sick of it. So I wonder where you even like go from there.
I feel like I'm a big fan of the word consolidating. Mm-hmm. Just you got all these things now, and I feel like that's kind of what they're gonna do, just based off like what the plan looks like, based on the movies coming out. Like they have more Avengers movies coming, so they're gonna bring it all together. Yeah. But I think. By consolidating, I want them to just, why does Shang-Chi... Did you watch Shang-Chi?
No.
It was cool. It was really, really good. It was, like, kind of kung fu-y.
Yeah.
The action in it was great. Mm-hmm. I love the action in it. But why does he have his own movie right now? Like, we never had seen it before. It doesn't show... I think it shows, like, 2 characters from other movies. We don't really know much about it. It doesn't play into the overall thing much at all.
Yeah.
And, at least not yet. And I feel like you can't do that. You can't introduce all these characters like that was what you had to do in the beginning because you had to start from somewhere. Mm-hmm. But now you have a bunch of storylines, so you can build them out from these other things. I feel like now they're trying to they're like, all right, we're gonna just kill Iron Man, we're gonna have Captain America gone, we're just gonna have to rebuild again.
Yeah,
you don't have to. You had all this shit.
You already got the foundation. Like I get they're trying to kind of redo what they did in the first phase where it's they had to do all these solo films because you didn't there was no universe yet. You had to do an Iron Man. You're like, who the hell is Iron Man? And then you see it. It's like, this is dope. But it's different now because there's already the established universe.
Right. So I feel like personally, instead of coming out with all this shit, some shit was really, like Loki, great show. I loved Loki. Yeah. But let's say, who was there? They had a bunch of pieces still together in there. Like you have Guardians of the Galaxy, you have Wanda, you have Doctor Strange. You had some things. Yeah. You had plenty of stuff. Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Fucking, you had a ton of shit. And then Spider-Man, they basically wiped from the face of the earth. Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange, they had do it with Wanda. I'm like, dog, those were 2 of your guys.
I know. You do 2 different movies.
Do 2 different shits. Please. And add more people that way. Yeah. They collab them. They're like, yo, let's collab. And then the Guardians of the Galaxy, they came out with a Christmas special, which is pretty cute, by the way.
I'm excited for. They're making a 3rd one, right? I'm excited for that because those are I love the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Those are really
They're
good.
so funny.
Those are really fucking
funny.
Good. So I think they could have done a lot from there too, but they had them in the Thor movie. Mm-hmm. They have Thor still too, which they barely introduced anything.
Use that opportunity to introduce the new characters that you wanted. Yeah. Instead of Wanda doing that stuff with Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I feel like it was just it was a bad way to do it. Personally, I don't know. Yeah. I'm also a super huge fan, so and then where the fuck did you watch the Eternals?
No, I'll be honest. I feel like I haven't been that into this new phase. After the whole I watched up to WandaVision when they released the show, and then obviously Endgame. I watched all that, but the new stuff I really I've had no desire to at all.
There's a short list of things that are valuable. Like the Loki show was cool. It was.
Did you like Ragnarok?
I loved Ragnarok.
That's the new one, right?
No, that's Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder. Love and Thunder.
I honestly didn't. I honestly think it's one of my least favorite.
Really?
I rewatched it recently because my sister, I bring in her through the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I brought her through everything for the most part. She's caught up now. It took us like a year. It's a lot. There's like 35 movies.
There's so many.
And about 7-8 shows.
Yeah.
I haven't showed her all the shows because they're just irrelevant. But Loki was relevant, so I showed her that. And WandaVision was relevant, so I showed her that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, dude, the fucking Eternals, Jesus Christ.
That was a disaster, right?
Such a huge flop, disaster. I remember watching it, I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, and I understand. I'm not one of those people that's stupid when I watch movies. When I watch movies, I'm fucking in it. I know exactly what's happening. I know every character's name. I know what's up. I'm in that universe. But this movie was just fucking stupid.
You didn't know it, yeah.
I was like, why? They tried to introduce like 9 characters. And they each had their own part of the film, like, basically. I was like, dog, you know what that fucking is? A TV show.
I know.
That's your TV show.
At that point, just do a TV show.
Make Loki as a movie. Loki's could have been a movie because he could carry his own movie. These bums needed a TV show. We didn't know nothing about him.
That's a good idea. If you're not introduced to the character yet, that's what the TV show should be for. Like not the
it feels like
the ones you know about
it feels
already.
like a step down when you bring him to a TV show. I'm like, why? Because then it makes Loki's show seem like a little less significant.
Yeah.
But it was such a huge thing. You could have made fucking 2 Loki movies about that. Dead serious. It was really cool. And Loki's his own character. It would have got a bigger budget, and then it would have made more money, and then it could have really had a second one. I think, like, Loki's a fucking big draw. Tom Hiddleston's a big draw.
Yeah, great actor, yeah.
Yeah, he is. So, that's my Marvel rant. I get excited about Marvel, I'm sorry. You're not a huge movie fan, though? Like, you would say just moderate?
Not really. I feel like... I can't even say the big ones I go and see, because, like... I hear so much about Top Gun and stuff. My dad was telling me, is like, you gotta go see this movie. Like, Top Gun was fucking awesome. I haven't seen the first Top Gun. It's like, I don't know. Like, not a huge movie person, honestly. But
would you say music takes up more of your entertainment and creativity?
Yeah, definitely.
So who are some of your? I know you're a Juice WRLD fan.
Big Juice WRLD fan.
Kendrick Lamar was a big one.
Always been a Kendrick fan. Future, Young Thug, like. Future. A lot of like the stereotypical like
Future's
rap.
mad underrated, still in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I remember because I was going through my Kendrick Lamar phase like all of high school, and I still do listen to Kendrick a lot, but not nearly as much as before because I like listen to others now. It's like I remember during freshman year of college, I started listening to Future more. I'm like, oh my god, like I always said I like lyrical rap and everything like that, like what Kendrick does, but I'm like, listen. Future does it his own way. That it's like it's so good,
So fucking good, dude. I love Future. I love Future. He's a fucking animal. I love, and it's very counterintuitive almost like Future's music because like, even though I love beats. I'm a beat head. I always I'll listen to the instrumental first. Then I think the second most important thing for me is probably the vocal, and then the lyrics. Yeah, like that's kind of the way it goes for me. But like any one of them can carry a song. But even still, I can recognize and say that to the masses, if your lyrics are really good, like your song will get across, and if your production's incredible, like it gets across. And usually the mumble rappers don't have that type of shit. Yeah. And Future's the fucking king mumble rapper. But it just doesn't fucking matter. Because he's just so good.
Yeah. And I hate when people... I remember especially, like, in high school, like, it was more common back then when, like, people like Young Thug and stuff were, like, really first starting to take off. Like, people were saying, like, this mumble rap is, like, terrible. Like, how can you listen to this? They're not saying anything. It's like... I don't care what they're saying.
It's like, dog, I don't even know they're fucking speaking.
It sounds good. That's what music is. Like, it's just supposed to sound good and make you into the, like, it gets you immersed into the music. That's what Future does. I love Future.
Yeah, he just makes sounds that are pleasing. His voice is just another instrument.
Like, a lot of people, discredit, like, mumble rap or, like, mumble rap. Like, not everyone can go and make a song that sounds good on a beat like these artists can. Like that's an artistic like ability in its own. Like like Young Thug to be able to say whatever he's saying but make it sound in a way that goes literally just like this with the beat. Like, that is awesome. Like,
yeah, he's really good.
You can't discredit something like that.
Thug's even better than Future at that, at like his voice being an instrument.
Yeah.
Like, he really like, because he can have so many different vocal inflections. Sometimes he's like really high pitch,
Yeah.
really low pitch.
Yeah.
He can change his energy. Future is like very much similar energy. That's why it makes no sense, because he makes so much music, like. So, like, usually, like, you know, if you're making a lot of music and a lot of it,
he's doing the same thing. Less quality, you think.
But it isn't,
You listen to his mixtapes, especially from, like, 20... Like, Monster is my favorite project from him. Love Monster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or Hendrix, I don't know. It's
Hendrix is the one who's, like, the White Smoke, right? That one's so
it's
good,
like,
yo. That's my favorite.
I love Future. And I
but
will
why?
say,
like, I don't know. I don't know why. It just sounds.
I don't
good.
know. Yeah, I don't know.
Cody crazy.
Yeah, Cody amazing. Like,
are we serious?
I'm not on the drugs that Future's on or anything, but it's like the music makes you feel a type of way that just is pleasing, which is what music's there to do.
He really did. He really has done some shit, and even just like his collab, like What a Time to Be Alive with Drake, like that shit was
great
just
album.
Fire.
His album with Young Thug, like another amazing like project.
DS2
like,
is one of my favorites.
DS2, that people think that's like one of his best. Can't argue with that. Like,
so like, but in what lane? So like, I feel like no one does that as good as him.
Mm-hmm.
So like, in a way, he's like the GOAT of that.
People like, I think if it depends on who you're talking to, like. Older, like call them older heads, like they think OGs. Like Tupac, like all that, like they're the GOAT. But if you talk to like our generation, they're not gonna go with like, unless you're like trying to fit in with them. It's like people can say Future is the GOAT, and like I will accept that.
How
like,
crazy is that?
It is crazy.
And I don't think, and that's why I say he's underrated, because in some aspects, to some people, in some ways, he is like the greatest.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. It's awesome.
It is hilarious, but I get it. Like I know what you're saying. Like I feel that.
Like and I say the same thing about some other guys, like Lil Wayne, because
is another one. Like I feel like when we were growing up, I remember seeing on YouTube comments and stuff. They're like, if Tupac was alive, Lil Wayne would be flipping burgers at McDonald's. It's like now we look at Lil Wayne, we're like, he was actually like he's one of the GOATs.
He was
like
so good. And because I feel like there's some people out there that are really, truly, through and through, are what they are, born to be what they are.
Yeah.
And Lil Wayne, if he isn't the rapper, like, I don't know, like, if I was to, like, paint a picture of a rapper, put their backstory together, say what they sounded like, what they looked like, what bars they use, what kind of songs they make, how big they'd get, how they'd be when their career was on the back end, it would literally just be describing Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne, yeah. He did it for like 20 years too, like the longevity and everything like that. Everything. Like
he brought along guys like Drake, Nicki Minaj. He brought them along. He was in Young Money. He had beefs with Birdman. He almost died, trying to kill himself when he was like 12. He has all these cool stories. He had some like drinking and drug issues. Still does. Like, but it's just like the whole package. He was so influential. He started the whole fucking Lil thing.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure like. I don't know it specifically, but the new artists like Lil Baby, like they all would credit someone like Lil Wayne.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
I
just like thought about it, but like in reality, when's the first time any of them heard it had to have been Lil Wayne. Some of them weren't even alive when Lil Wayne was dropping his first shit.
Yeah,
you know, like Lil Baby, he can't be too much older than us. You know.
Yeah.
So and the Carter 1 came out in like 2000, 2005 maybe, but like even if Lil Baby was like 7 at the time, like that's really when you're first listening to shit.
Yeah,
for real. So that was probably a huge influence. And Lil Wayne's also gives mad credit to like the young guys. He loves young music. He's like, yo, like I'm never gonna like talk shit about the young guys, all that. And I just feel like he is the embodiment of like what rappers are.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like in some respects you could say he's the greatest.
Yeah. It's so mind blowing because I feel like I said, as we were kids, like that would never be an opinion.
Yeah.
Like, we grew up like hearing that Tupac, Biggie, like they were all the GOAT.
And but one day we're gonna be sitting here and in like 20 years someone's gonna be like, yo, Lil Uzi Vert really did that shit. Like I remember when Lil Uzi came out and I was like, this kid's ass. He is dog shit. But I'll tell you, dude, no one does it their own way like Lil Uzi does. And I ain't even a huge Lil Uzi fan.
Yeah, I'm not either, but
dog.
There's songs that are on my playlist that I'm like,
I'm getting nervous because he's really sticking around, and he keeps reinventing his sound, and like I'm starting to see GOAT path. And I'm wondering, like, because, to someone, he's going to be their GOAT. Once you're one person's GOAT for something opinionated, then you have claim. Yeah. You can stake your claim and say, I am, like, because now he brought along all the SoundCloud guys. Yeah. So he's, like, a whole vein of rap.
He's got
himself.
His own, like, umbrella kind of, like.
Punk rap.
Emo rap.
Yeah. He did that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's impressive.
It's very impressive, yeah.
Like, that's a tough resume to turn down. Like, I look at Future, like, he did all the mumble guys, like, Atlanta, Trap.
Yeah.
Like, one of the godfathers of Trap. That's tough to turn down.
Absolutely.
That's where a guy like Kendrick Lamar is strange. Because he's so obviously the best, really, in a lot of ways. But it's like, where, if any, is the influence?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because he's obviously so gifted in every aspect of making music, but
defines a generation, in my opinion. I think defines a movement. He defines a generation. It's amazing. It's transcended music.
Yeah, and then you just wonder, like, what is Kendrick's umbrella? Like, I feel like he does. I don't like.
Who do you think? I mean, like, you'd know better than me, probably.
I don't know, because if like. My friends always say, like, I'm very limited in my music, so I don't know that many artists, like, compared to what you may think or something, but, like, I do know there are a lot of artists that take inspiration from Kendrick Lamar, like, most of, like, JID, I don't know if you listen to him, he's in the Dream, like, he's under J. Cole's label and everything, like, he's one who's a young artist, up and coming, who's, if you listen to his music, you can really hear Kendrick's resemblance. Exactly, and it's weird because what does Kendrick's resemblance sound like? Because he's more of, like, we grew up thinking he's like a lyricist and everything, but I don't know, you can definitely tell. And I think that's what made Kendrick so special, is because even if, I don't know, his sound was so unique without, I don't know.
I think maybe what you're trying to say is, like, it just transcends, like, you can't do it. Like, you can't influence because no one can do that. It's like saying, like, I'm trying to think, like, you're so good, you're not even an influence, or you're so different, you're not even an influence, you're just like a one of a kind.
Yeah, one of a kind.
Like Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook at his peak, 30, 10, and 10.
No problem, every night.
That's not, you're not going to influence anybody at 6'3" and under to do that.
Yeah.
You can't. It's so unique.
Yeah, it's just
Steph Curry, on the other hand, like, he can influence because people can shoot threes. You can shoot them,
I just had my buddy tell me that Russell Westbrook shouldn't have won MVP that year just because I'm like, listen, I understand the narrative. I feel like the value of a triple-double is diminishing, but you can't disrespect what Russ was doing.
Do you want to know why?
Because of Russell Westbrook.
Because he did it 4 years in a row.
He did it no problem.
1 year on the Wizards, he was averaging 22, 12, and 12.
Yeah.
Wasn't even fucking close. He could have gone whole games with no assists, no rebounds, multiple of them, and been fine.
Yeah.
He had a 20-20-20 game.
Yeah.
Because of the rolling 60s. Because Nipsey Hussle died.
I know, that was a beautiful game too.
He just felt like getting 20-20-20.
Yeah.
He was one of the first to ever have a triple-double where he didn't miss a shot and didn't have a turnover.
Yeah.
Let's not fucking act like Russell Westbrook.
I know. I hate the revisionist history.
He's I remember when he won the MVP. I remember playing 2K. They put your archetype next to your player.
And Russ was yours, or
no, not for my player. Just like next to them. Like it would say, like, for LeBron, inside out.
Oh, okay.
Like,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like inside out, like star forward. Whatever. Yeah. Offensive minded star, like Kevin Durant, like pure scorer, or whatever. For Russell Westbrook, it literally said the only player in the game where it said this, one of a kind.
Because
that's what he was at the time. Let's not fucking forget who Russell Westbrook was.
I know.
I love Russ.
The Lakers' reputation is diminishing him right now, but I feel like true hoop fans are not going to forget what Russ did.
Right. So he's an outlier. He's so unique. It's a unicorn. Doesn't make him better than Steph, but Steph could never do. No one can do what he did. Shaq. No one can do what Shaq did.
Yep.
And that's what they'll always have their place. Kendrick Lamar, I don't think people can do that. Like, I just don't think. And Kanye West, like, I don't think people can
what's so special about, like, Kendrick and even Kanye, too, that you brought him up, is, like, they can do whatever. I feel like they can do whatever they put their mind to. Like, Kendrick, if he wants to be a lyricist, he can. But he also, like, he will make radio songs and everything, just like Future and them can. Like, he can do what he wants, and that's what makes him so special. In my opinion, I always feel like Kendrick will always be the GOAT to me, just because I grew up listening to him. He, like I said, if there's something he wants, he can put his mind to it and make that sound. Like,
yeah, like the whole, even just the whole, some of his concepts. I loved, my favorite album is probably Good Kid, Mad City.
yeah, which I love.
Because it's the most accessible, I think.
Yep.
I think that was his, like, all right, like, just so you guys know.
Straightforward storytelling.
I can make a beautiful, the story is just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, it's mad, like, listenable.
Yeah.
Like people play swimming pools.
You can aux those songs. You don't aux To Pimp a Butterfly, but that's in its own respect another great album.
Comes out with To Pimp a Butterfly, makes that one hit, all right, which defined a generation in a lot of ways. Defines a lot of people's life, you know, and becomes like the anthem of a movement, which is really impossible to do.
Yeah.
And then but it's again that one's really hard to like. You can't aux that.
Yeah.
That album for the most part.
But
like just the way that like it all comes in at the end. I love the ending when I listen to the whole
with Tupac.
I listen to the whole Mortal Man.
Yeah.
Every time I play it, it comes up in shuffle because I love hearing him talk to Tupac. Yeah. It's a beautiful sentiment. How the fuck do you think of that? And then make it sound so cohesive at the end, and it was so good. And then Damn, like,
and then he followed up with Damn
backwards, like, shit makes no sense.
Damn's another one that he went back to, and it's like these are songs you can play anywhere for the most, like, obviously a select few you can't, but like he went back to that like idea that it's like
Kid, Mad City type.
Yeah, you can play any of these songs and it will go. You know?
And then I think this one's not this most recent is another To Pimp Butterfly type thing. But whereas To Pimp a Butterfly was for the people, this was for him.
For himself, yeah.
So I feel like that's why it's obviously going to have much less love than To Pimp a Butterfly. But
Definitely.
Still, again, I'm listening to it. I'm just
I still love that album,
It like some shit like is just so fucking intense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's that type of versatility and the ability to like really do the little shit. You can do the little shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what just separates those guys. Because like he can just do something so unique that like no one else can touch him in those aspects.
Yeah.
And like for Kanye's examples, I guess you could say like the first 3 albums were really his like, let me make it as me. Let me make it. He had to make it first.
Yeah.
So he makes his first 3 albums, becomes the biggest star in the world in a lot of ways. And then he makes 808s. People fucking hated 808s at the time.
Yeah.
Now I love 808s.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way where I didn't like it initially, especially as a kid. Like, I just did not like 808s. Yeah. And I grew up and I'm like, okay, I have a new appreciation for this.
Because in a lot of ways, I think 808s and then Yeezus
that
too.
Inspired. We were just talking about umbrellas and stuff. Kanye kind of paved the way for people like Drake, where, by extension, like later down the line, like Juice WRLD and stuff, where it's like, we can make like love rap songs and stuff like that. Which is
crazy that he did this shit. He inspires many people, but I still don't think. I think that the peak Kanye is the only part that I can see of his that never got replicated in any way. Like the first 3 albums of him making soul infused sample beats. That is not that. There's a whole branch of rap that is that.
Yeah.
Now whole vein. Yep. And then the love shit.
Yep.
Is its own thing. The 808s, just in general, bringing 808s into rap, is crazy.
Yeah.
And then Yeezus, like a lot of like
Twisted Fantasy's another one. Oh my god.
But I think that's what I'm saying. Dark Twisted Fantasy. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that.
Yeah. Even though Kendrick,
that's its own thing.
Kendrick might be. I think he's my favorite artist of all time. Twisted Fantasy is always like the past like 4 or 5 years has been my favorite album, undoubtedly.
Yeah. Like you can't influence people to make Lost in the World or Runaway.
All of the Lights.
You can't influence Runaway into a genre. You can't. Because it's just like a beautiful. It's like a magnus opus. Like it's like the top tier of music. It's in some people's top 10 songs ever, which is funny because Pusha T's on it.
Yeah.
So I was saying this the other day. Like Pusha T is just casually sitting in people's top 10 songs of all time. Some people love Good Life. T-Pain's just chilling in your. I remember T-Pain was doing a hits battle versus somebody, right? And shit, this was fucking hilarious. He was like, all right, man, like, let me play this one last song. Like, I got one, like, I forget who he was going up against, and he goes, boom, and he played Good Life, and I was like, dog, Get that out of your heads. You know that shit ain't you.
Okay.
Like, bro, that's Kanye's song. We know that. We know you ain't do like you did your shit, but you did.
I get it though. If you get
that's his number one song though. That is
Yeah.
T-Pain, a massive artist, industry changing artist, and revolutionized autotune, everything.
Yep.
Bartender, like whatever. That's the other song.
Buy you a drink.
Buy You a Drink. These are two huge songs. Mm-hmm. But when he needs to get
one more
dip
song.
into his bag, he's like, yo, what? He just goes to like maybe what it ends up being Kanye's like 5th or 6th best song. He's like, yo, I need that. And he's only a feature, and he's like tries to hide behind it. Like he was like, boom! I'll never forget that shit was funny. As
I know
shit.
those versus battles were hilarious because you saw that all the time. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Is
And then
this
like,
really your song?
yeah, I'm like, dog, stop pulling up your features. Dog.
Yeah,
like you know, what I mean? Like if you put like together a really good verse, that's one thing. What's your favorite guest verse?
I don't know.
I think I was listening to mine the other day. It's I'm just gonna say it. It was Money Trees, J-Rock.
J-Rock.
That was a
Dan, I literally was just thinking that because I don't know why my brain instantly went to Good Kid, Mad City. I'm like, okay, I really like Drake's verse on Poetic Justice.
That was so good.
There was one other, Money Trees, J-Rock. Literally by far my favorite feature.
And it's really, really hard to make because it's the third verse I think of the song.
Yeah, it's at the very end.
That's fucking hard.
Yep.
To do, to make. But if you do it right, that's how I know it's so good. Another verse I love, Rick Ross and Devil in a New Dress.
Yeah,
Dog.
the guitar instrumental just builds you up to that verse and it just makes it so special.
And then Rick Ross just goes in there and he's spitting his shit. Because in the end, Rick Ross, I think, is a better rapper than Kanye.
Yeah.
Kanye, I don't think is a great rapper. He's just got so much fucking swag and confidence that like it makes him a great rapper.
Yeah.
So, but Rick Ross, he does this shit. Like, if he wants to, Rick Ross can do that shit. Mm-hmm. Which is funny because it's Rick Ross.
Yeah.
But, dog, that verse is incredible. It's a really, really good guest verse. I'm thinking...
That song's one of a kind. I love that song.
What's one... Are there any other ones that come to mind?
I can't... See, I'm on the spot right now, and I can never remember. I'm trying to think. I'm going to look at see if I can find anything on Spotify. Like...
I feel like, not that it's an all-time one, but Lil Baby on Wants and Needs.
Mm-hmm.
With Drake, that was awesome.
There's just so many good ones, you know? Like,
yeah, I like to think of one that like transforms the song in a lot of ways, like almost like
that's all. Like J-Rock,
J-Rock changes the feeling of the song. In a lot of ways. It's like Money Trees. Like I feel like the way it goes, it feels like the image in my mind is like a money tree, like a palm tree, almost like flowing in the air, kind of like West Coast, and that's what it is. But then J-Rock comes in, and it's like a very like intense verse.
J-Rock always brings the power, and that's like what you feel. It's like the build up is to J-Rock, and then
and then he closes it out beautifully.
Yeah,
so that's why I always think about that verse.
That has to be my favorite.
Yeah,
I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but
it's between that one and the Rick Ross one for me, because the Rick Ross one, just I don't fucking dude, that shit gets me going. Hold on, well, it's the last line in that that's just like. Yeah, that Rick Ross.
Sipping rosé all alone.
Sipping rosé all alone. Oh, dude, I gotta look up Devil in a New Dress lyrics. You gotta find this right now. This shit's crazy. This is his last. Yeah, just it's not even the last line. It's the second to last line. Up through it. God bless them. Oh yeah, he says I shed a tear before the night's over. God bless the man I put this ice over, which is fucking hard as shit. That shit's so crazy. Getting Tupac money twice over. That's hard as fuck.
I love that about rap. Like, okay, a lot of rap is not a very like.
Oof, that's hard.
Especially mainstream rap is not the most accessible genre. Like in terms of playing on the radio, on like the masses liking it and stuff. I love that rap. You can listen to something, listen to it, and then like maybe on the 15th listen, you find like a whole new meaning to a lyric, and it's
just like, oh my
God. Like it just blows your mind because especially like the lyrical ones. I don't know if you listen to Ab-Soul. That's another.
Oh yeah, he just came out with an album.
I loved it. I loved it. Like,
that was crazy.
Ab-Soul has these songs that he'll say something and they mean like 3 different things in the same sentence. I'm like. How can someone do that? Like that's poetry to a new level.
And just puts it into a song too. Like,
yeah,
just like casually.
It's just like one of like 16 bars or something he has, and it's like how do you do that?
3 16-bar verses, whatever the fuck you put together. And it's just like, oh, it's so pretty. I don't even know this, but this verse. See, another thing that rap can do, if you don't say you don't like make the triple entendre of all time, the greatest. Like, you can just say some fucking really dope shit. Yeah. Getting Tupac money twice over is hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Because it's like, Tupac. It's like, it's a little bit of a double entendre, but really, all you're just saying is like, yeah, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy to say. It's so sick. I love the way Kanye puts the verse, the hook in this. Put your hands to the constellations. Mm-hmm. That alone. Yep. Just not put your hands to the sky. Don't raise the roof. Don't touch the ceiling. Don't touch the stars. Put your hands to the constellations.
Yeah.
What a cool way. And that's just the thing with lyricism in general. I'm not a huge country fan.
Me either.
But I have been listening to one guy, Zach Bryan.
I've heard a lot of him. I've heard of him.
I love him.
Yeah.
I love him. Don't know why, but I love him. And he has this one song called Something in the Orange. Mm-hmm. The orange being like the sunset. Something in the air. But he could have said something in the air. Mm-hmm. Easily.
Yeah.
Could have said there's something in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Easy thing to say. Could have said something in the sunset and something in like the orange sky. Could have even just specified a little bit.
Yeah.
But something about just leaving it to something in the orange.
Yeah.
Is like fucking. Oh, it just gets me going. It gets me going.
Gets the people going.
It gets the people going. For real. Yeah, another great song. Those aren't guest verses though. That's a collab.
Yeah, that's a collab. Yeah.
What a collab.
I know. That's like the two guys for rap. Like,
we need a collab like that.
Yeah.
I want a Kanye Drake collab.
I want Kendrick J. Cole was always the one I always wanted. Because the thing that pissed me off, they teased about it. Like, what?
Yeah. Didn't they make music? Isn't that how J. Cole got a start? He was producing for...
He produced songs for Kendrick, I remember, on his earlier stuff. And then you've heard Black Friday, I assume, right?
Oh my God.
Like, how can you give us a taste of something like that?
They probably have it. They probably have
probably.
They
because
they tease about
it. They used to tease about it all the time where they're like, yeah, like K-Dot, J. Cole on the way. It's like,
every once in a while,
is it?
I bet they meet up and have dinner every once in a while. And they both, first they have to get out the way. They're like, probably smoking weed. And then Kendrick's probably like, yo, I still think I'm the best. And then J. Cole's like, I still think I'm the best. I'm like, all right, cool. Yo, so should we drop those 13 songs yet? It's like, nah.
Let's fuck with them more.
In fact, let's make a bonus track. Let's make a deluxe to the album that they don't know about yet. And then they probably have a whole album. If I were them, I'd make a whole album with the other guy.
Yeah.
And I'd say, all right, if one of us dies, we drop. Mm-hmm. That's just first things first. But if not, we wait till the numbers just ain't the same, and then we'll drop it and we'll fucking shake the entire planet,
blow up the whole internet.
Yeah, because every
one last boom.
Yeah, one last boom when we're like 60.
Yeah.
Or 50, whatever, before it sounds too dated. But like, because imagine if think about who's an old artist. Let's say. Come on, Dan. Anybody from like the 90s.
Yeah, like
80s.
Especially like 90s rap, or boombox rap.
Let's say
80s,
like NWA and like Wu-Tang Clan. Not that they were really together at the same time. Really, I think Wu-Tang was a little before their time. So let's think of a different comparison. Then actually, that's not gonna work. Let's say Michael Jackson and Prince. Mm-hmm. That's a good comparison.
Yeah, perfect.
Let's say they had a collab. Mm-hmm. They're both dead now. Mm-hmm. That could drop today, and it would be the best-selling album for like the next whole year.
Definitely.
It's MJ and Prince.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? It's MJ and fucking Prince. So I'd listen to the whole thing through. I think everybody just had an intrigue would have to listen to the whole way.
That's just two artists everyone knows.
Yeah,
so.
You couldn't not listen to that. Especially if they had just like a 2-week rollout. Like of just them, you make a little collab video. Oh, that'd be mint. That'd be cool. My marketing brand. I'm marketing something that doesn't exist right now. But it was just, so I feel like you could do it. Like, it's not like it's like you'd be even too dated. If Otis Redding, I love Otis Redding, he died when he was like 26 years old, by the way. Do you know that?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Otis Redding, the guy, he sings Sitting on the Dock of the Bay.
I didn't know he died that young.
He sounds like he's 80 in the songs, which is why it sounds so crazy. But he died when he was 26 in a plane crash.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, crazy. He didn't even know, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, the song?
Yeah.
So he recorded it like 3 days prior. He never knew he was like that famous. He knew he was famous. He never knew that song was his thing. Anyways.
Yeah.
But if he had an album, that was in like the fucking 60s. If he had an album come out today with like Ray Charles or something, I'd be like, please.
I'd listen to it.
So I think the same thing would happen if Kendrick and J. Cole
any rap fan, even if you're not a Kendrick fan, you're not a J. Cole fan, you would listen to that. Like,
especially if it was back in the day. Like if they made it like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Every April 1st, I get jammed up.
They just fuck.
They stay posting shit on it. Everyone April 1st is like, Kendrick and J. Cole are dropping. I'm like, fuck you. I had a friend. You know Andrew Torres? You know Torres?
Yeah.
He got jammed up by April Fools 3 times in one day. Like, bro, we jammed up. One thing happened. Like, Celtics made a trade. I was like, dude, deadline was last week. Like, don't get jammed up right now. So he thought that out. Yeah. And then he said something else to us in the Xbox. We were on Xbox. And he got jammed up again, like, on the same day. And I was like, bro, you're getting fucked up right now.
There's just some people you can fool, like, with anything. Like,
and he's usually not that way, which is funny.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, Harry Johnson. Fucking, I could have her thinking that's real. But then later in the day, like we roasted him about this on Xbox for like hours. You know, I'm like, all right, whatever. See you towards. Blah, blah, blah. I check Instagram later. He reposts on his story the J. Cole Kendrick thing. He was like, I'm pumped. And I was like, and I slid up. I was like, bruh.
Who's gonna tell?
There's no way you got jammed up 3 times in one day on April. Like, bruh, I want to be a fucking idiot. That's like being surprised.
I feel like after the first one, you should not believe anything else you see the rest of the day.
For real, because that's like if I came home and I got hit with a surprise birthday party 3 times. Like, well, actually, I guess not, because like, if you got hit with one, if you hit with more than one, that'd be crazy. But that's like coming home on your birthday, and I don't get why people are shocked about surprise birthday parties. Right?
Yeah, I feel like
bro,
keep it in the back of your mind. Like,
it's
you
your
might
birthday.
get surprised.
It's your fucking
and
birthday.
you can usually tell if something's up.
For sure. So like, that's like being surprised about like that's like being surprised someone said happy birthday to you on your birthday. That's he was like, well, how was I supposed to know? I was like, bro,
it's April 1st.
Don't be fucking stupid. How about that? Don't be fucking stupid. But yeah, okay, Zach. So how long do you think we've been going for? If you were to guess.
I don't know. 30, 45 minutes?
Hour and a half.
Really?
Hour and a half.
That's the time, right? That's the target.
That's the target. It's somewhere between hour 15 and hour 45 is usually where I like to cut, because I just don't want to keep everyone around too long. How was your experience on the DOD-Cast in general?
I loved it.
Yeah.
You are you have a very diverse taste in everything. Like I like how you have so many interests in different things, because I feel like me and you relate a lot, where we don't set our minds on one thing, we like learning about so many different things.
Yeah.
And it just, you can talk about like anything, you know?
really can. I mean, I feel like I can. I feel like you can. I feel like that's what makes me okay at this, because in the end,
that's why you're a good podcast. Out of anyone I know from Medford, you're the guy.
I'm
for
the
a
guy
podcast.
to make one.
Absolutely.
If someone were to make one, it'd be me.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, Zach, appreciate the words so much.
Of course.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me on. Hope I was an interesting guy.
Oh, you were great, dude. This is gonna be great. This will be a little bit of a different format. I'm excited for people to watch it. If you made it this far, thank you again. Subscribe, all that shit. You made it this far. Like, fucking, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, bye bye. See you next time.
Thank you.
Boom.